Pay close attention to actions, not words. The Stoics taught us that character reveals itself in behavior, not promises. In relationships, this principle is critical. If you suspect a woman might be using you, there are signs, subtle at first, but unmistakable when you know what to look for. These behaviors aren't just coincidences, they're patterns designed to take advantage of your time, energy, and emotions. In this video, I'll show you the 7 unmistakable signs that she's using you and how the wisdom of Stoicism can guide you to respond with clarity and confidence. Stick with me until the end to learn how to protect yourself and reclaim your power. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments below. It could help someone else recognize these red flags. Now, let's dive into it. Chapter 1. She's only nice when she needs something. Have you ever noticed her demeanor change dramatically when she wants a favor? Perhaps she suddenly becomes warm, engaging, and overly complimentary, making you feel like the most important person in the room. But as soon as she gets what she needs, her attitude shifts, indifference, coldness, or even outright avoidance sets in. This isn't a coincidence, it's a classic sign of conditional kindness, where her niceness is entirely dependent on what she stands to gain. A woman who's using you sees the relationship as purely transactional. Her kindness isn't rooted in genuine care or affection, it's simply a means to an end. She'll go out of her way to be attentive, charming, and sweet when she needs something, whether it's financial help, access to your resources, or assistance solving a problem. Yet, the moment her needs are met, her engagement drops, and her true indifference surfaces. This pattern of behavior reveals a deep disconnect between how she presents herself and her actual intentions. The Stoics, known for their wisdom and insight into human behavior, taught us to recognize the dangers of being swayed by external motivations. They believed in looking beyond surface appearances to discern a person's true character. When our pattern of behavior revolves around what you can provide rather than who you are, it's time to step back and reassess. True relationships are built on mutual care, respect, and a shared desire for each other's well-being. Manipulative kindness, on the other hand, is a red flag that the foundation of the connection is hollow. A relationship where someone's interest in you is entirely tied to their convenience or gain is not a relationship, it's exploitation. The key to uncovering her true intentions lies in testing her consistency. Start by setting boundaries or politely declining her requests. For example, if she asks for help with something and you're unable to provide it, observe how she reacts. Does her warmth and attentiveness disappear immediately? Does she pull away, guilt-trip you, or lash out with frustration? These are clear indicators that her interest in you isn't genuine, it's tied to the benefits you bring to the table. On the flip side, a woman who truly cares for you will respect your boundaries and value your company regardless of what you can do for her. She'll show up for you not because of what she can gain, but because she genuinely values your presence in her life. When her actions reflect this kind of consistency, it's a sign of authenticity and emotional investment. Don't ignore the patterns in her behavior. If her kindness and interest are conditional and only surface when she needs something, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. You deserve someone who values you for who you are, not for what you can provide. By recognizing these signs early and addressing them, you protect yourself from emotional manipulation and open the door to building connections that are grounded in genuine care and respect. Chapter 2. She doesn't do one-on-one dates. A woman who's genuinely interested in you will actively seek opportunities to spend quality, uninterrupted time together. This is because true interest goes beyond surface-level interaction and gravitates toward meaningful connection. When someone truly values you, they want the kind of one-on-one moments that allow for deeper conversations, shared experiences, and emotional bonding. However, if she consistently avoids one-on-one interactions and instead always opts to invite friends or prefers group settings, it's a glaring red flag. This behavior suggests that she might not value your connection on a personal level, but rather sees it as something less significant or less prioritized. Bringing friends along serves two strategic purposes. First, it dilutes the intimacy of the moment, ensuring that your conversations and interactions remain superficial and never venture into deeper, more meaningful territory. Second, it provides her with a buffer, a way to redirect attention and shift the dynamic so that it's less about the two of you and more about the group as a whole. This behavior clearly indicates that she's not truly invested in getting to know you deeply. Instead, she might simply be enjoying the benefits of your attention, your generosity, or perhaps even your social status, all while keeping the relationship at arm's length. From the perspective of Stoic philosophy, this lack of intentionality is deeply telling. The Stoics emphasized the importance of living with purpose and cultivating relationships that foster mutual growth and understanding. If her actions lack intention and focus toward building a meaningful bond, it's a clear indication that the relationship is not headed toward depth or authenticity. A relationship without deliberate effort and mutual investment is like a house built on sand. It may look fine on the surface, but it lacks the foundation necessary to withstand challenges or nurture true intimacy. When someone consistently avoids private, personal moments, it's not just about their comfort level, it's often a reflection of how they perceive the connection. If she doesn't see the value in spending uninterrupted time with you, it's a signal that she doesn't view the relationship as meaningful enough to nurture. True interest is accompanied by a willingness to engage in the kind of moments that build trust, understanding, and emotional closeness. To uncover her true intentions, suggest a private setting. It doesn't have to be extravagant or overly formal. Propose something simple, such as a quiet dinner, a stroll in the park, or an activity designed for just the two of you, something that naturally encourages connection. Then, observe her reaction carefully. Does she seem genuinely excited about the idea, or does she find excuses to avoid it? Pay attention to her consistency. If she repeatedly sidesteps opportunities for one-on-one time, it's a clear signal that she's not as invested in the relationship as you might have hoped. Remember, a relationship that doesn't prioritize one-on-one time is a relationship that lacks substance. Intimacy and emotional connection are not built in crowded, noisy settings or group dynamics. They're forged in private moments when two people can truly focus on each other without distractions. If she's unwilling to engage in such moments, it's more than just a signal of disinterest. It's a warning that you may be pouring your time, energy, and emotions into someone who isn't prepared to reciprocate. You deserve a relationship that's built on mutual respect, care, and intentionality. Don't allow yourself to settle for surface-level connections that leave you feeling unfulfilled. By recognizing these patterns early and addressing them, you can protect your energy and create space for relationships that align with your values and your desire for deeper, more meaningful connections. Chapter 3. She seems checked out. Engagement is one of the most telling signs of genuine interest. When a woman likes and values you, she actively participates in conversations, remembers details about your life, and shows emotional investment in your experiences. But if she seems perpetually distracted, uninterested in your stories, or detached during your time together, it's a strong indicator that her heart isn't in it. The signs of being checked out are often subtle at first. She might respond to your questions with one-word answers or fail to ask about your day. Over time, these behaviors become more noticeable, like scrolling through her phone during conversations, interrupting you to change the subject, or forgetting important details you shared. Her disinterest could also manifest as minimal effort to initiate plans or contribute to meaningful discussions about your relationship or shared future. When someone disengages, their actions reveal their priorities. A woman who values you will show up fully, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. If her focus is elsewhere, it may be because she sees little value in connecting with you on a deeper level. This doesn't mean she's inherently a bad person, but it does mean her intentions might not align with your expectations for a fulfilling relationship. The Stoics remind us to look inward in situations like this. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't force someone to care or engage, but you can control how much of your energy you continue to invest in someone who doesn't reciprocate. Staying in a relationship where you constantly feel like you're fighting for attention is draining and unsustainable. One of the clearest indicators of disinterest is when her engagement shifts depending on the situation. For example, she might be fully attentive when she needs something from you, albeit a favor, advice, or emotional support, but becomes distant once her need is met. This inconsistency signals that her interest is conditional rather than genuine, and that she views the relationship as more transactional than meaningful. It's also important to observe her reactions during moments of vulnerability or celebration. Does she seem bored or distracted when you share something personal? Does she fail to celebrate your achievements with enthusiasm? A woman who is truly invested will celebrate your successes and offer support during your challenges. When she consistently seems indifferent to your highs and lows, it's a strong indication that her emotional commitment is lacking. This behavior is not only a sign of her disinterest, but also a reflection of her priorities. People naturally invest their time and energy into what they care about most. If her focus is repeatedly drawn away from you, whether by social media, other people, or her own goals, it's likely because she doesn't see the relationship as a priority. While everyone has moments of distraction, consistent disengagement reveals a deeper issue. The Stoics teach us to detach from things outside our control, including how others feel or act toward us. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In this context, craving more attention from someone who isn't willing to give it only leads to frustration and emotional poverty. You deserve someone who naturally invests in you, not someone whose attention feels like an uphill battle to earn. This doesn't mean you should immediately walk away at the first sign of disengagement. Relationships require communication and effort, and people may have off days or temporary distractions. However, if you've brought up your concerns and her behavior remains unchanged, it's a sign that she's not willing to meet you halfway. A relationship where only one person is actively engaged is not a partnership, it's an imbalance that ultimately erodes trust and connection. Another layer to consider is how she behaves around others. If you notice she's fully present and engaged with friends, colleagues, or even strangers, but remains distant with you, it's worth asking why. True affection and interest are consistent, not selective. A woman who genuinely values you will show the same level of attention and care regardless of the context or who else is in the room. It's also crucial to reflect on how her disengagement affects your self-esteem and emotional well-being. Being in a relationship where you constantly feel unseen or unheard can chip away at your confidence and create feelings of inadequacy. The Stoics remind us to guard our inner peace and not allow external circumstances to dictate our worth. If her lack of engagement is making you question your value, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. Ultimately, relationships thrive on mutual effort and presence. If she seems checked out despite your best efforts to connect, it's a sign that her interest in the relationship is limited. Don't let this discourage you from seeking meaningful connections elsewhere. As the Stoics teach, focus on what is within your power, your actions, your mindset, and your choice to pursue relationships that uplift and inspire you. Let her actions, not her words, be your guide. If her attention feels like a scarce resource that you have to fight for, it's a strong signal that she's not emotionally invested. And if that's the case, remember this: you deserve someone who values your time, your energy, and your heart. Letting go of a relationship that doesn't serve you isn't a failure, it's an act of self-respect and growth. Chapter 4. She uses you to network. One of the clearest signs a woman is using you is her sudden and strategic interest in your connections, career, or resources. She may present this as admiration for your work, curiosity about your industry, or a desire to learn more about your social or professional circles. At first, this might feel flattering. However, upon closer inspection, her focus often reveals itself to be less about you as a person and more about what you can offer her in terms of advancement or access. For instance, she might be quick to ask about your colleagues, request introductions, or even seek advice on breaking into your field. While it's natural for people in relationships to support each other's ambitions, this dynamic becomes problematic when the relationship revolves almost entirely around her leveraging your status or network for personal gain. Her enthusiasm for these conversations might noticeably outshine her interest in your personal life, hobbies, or emotions. Another red flag is the imbalance in reciprocity. Does she offer support or connections in return, or is the flow of benefits strictly one-sided? A woman who values you will look for ways to contribute to your success and well-being, not merely extract opportunities. If her interactions seem transactional, expressing affection or attentiveness only when something is at stake, it's a sign her intentions may not be genuine. The Stoics warned against being blinded by flattery or surface-level charm. Epictetus emphasized the importance of recognizing genuine virtue in others rather than being swayed by appearances or words. If her compliments and attentiveness feel calculated, designed to build goodwill before she makes a request, this is worth examining. True admiration is consistent and unconditional, not situational or opportunistic. Pay attention to how she reacts when you're unable to meet her requests or if an opportunity doesn't pan out as she hoped. Does she remain engaged and supportive, or does her interest in you wane until she identifies a new angle to pursue? Her response in these moments can be telling. A woman who genuinely cares will maintain her connection to you regardless of the material benefits involved. Social settings can also offer insights into her intentions. If she's quick to latch onto influential people in your circle or steers conversations toward networking opportunities, it could indicate that she views your relationship as a gateway rather than a genuine partnership. While ambition itself isn't inherently negative, using someone purely as a means to an end erodes trust and authenticity. It's important to distinguish between healthy ambition and manipulation. A woman who truly values you will seek to grow alongside you, celebrating your achievements without treating them as tools for her own advancement. She'll respect your boundaries and avoid pressuring you into uncomfortable situations to further her goals. On the other hand, a woman using you for networking may frequently downplay your concerns or dismiss your feelings when they conflict with her agenda. For example, if you express hesitation about introducing her to a contact and she reacts with frustration, guilt-tripping, or emotional withdrawal, it's a sign her priorities lie more in what you can provide than in respecting your boundaries. The Stoics emphasized the importance of aligning actions with values. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the need to surround oneself with people who embody integrity and virtue. Relationships based on mutual respect and shared values create harmony and growth. Conversely, connections rooted in self-interest and exploitation lead to imbalance and resentment. If you suspect she's using you to network, reflect on the overall balance of your relationship. Are her actions consistent with someone who values you as a person, or do they align more with someone seeking strategic benefits? Evaluate her level of engagement in other areas of your life. Does she take the time to understand your emotions, dreams, and challenges, or is her focus narrowly centered on your resources? To address this, communication is key. Be direct about your observations and set clear boundaries regarding how much access you're comfortable granting to your network or resources. Pay attention to her response. Does she show understanding and adjust her behavior, or does she react defensively or dismissively? Her reaction will reveal her true priorities. If she continues to push boundaries or prioritizes her goals over your comfort and well-being, it's time to reassess the relationship. The Stoics believed in maintaining relationships that enrich our lives and reflect our values. If a relationship becomes a source of stress or feels exploitative, walking away is not just acceptable, but necessary for preserving your self-respect. Ultimately, genuine connections are built on mutual care, trust, and a shared vision for growth. A partner who values you will celebrate your accomplishments without treating them as stepping stones for her own ambitions. By staying true to your values and observing her actions with clarity, you can protect yourself from being used and focus on building relationships that are meaningful and fulfilling. Chapter 5. The relationship feels unequal. A relationship thrives on mutual effort, respect, and appreciation. When one partner consistently bears the burden, whether it's financial, emotional, or in terms of time and energy, it creates a lopsided dynamic that's both unsustainable and deeply draining. If you find yourself always paying for dates, initiating plans, or rearranging your life to accommodate her needs while receiving little to nothing in return, you're likely in an unequal relationship. The signs of imbalance might seem subtle at first. Perhaps she never offers to split a bill or contribute financially, even when it's clear she's capable. Maybe she rarely checks in on how you're doing emotionally or shows interest in your challenges. Instead, the focus seems to remain on her needs and desires. Over time, these patterns reveal a dynamic where she views you as more of a provider or a convenience than an equal partner. Financial imbalance is one of the most glaring signs. If you're consistently the one footing the bill for meals, gifts, or activities, while she never reciprocates or shows appreciation, it's worth questioning her intentions. A woman who values you will want to share in the responsibilities of the relationship, even if her contributions aren't monetary. She might offer to cook dinner, plan a date, or find other ways to show her investment. Emotional effort is just as crucial. Are you the one always reaching out, making plans, or resolving conflicts? Relationships require two people to actively nurture and grow the connection. If she's passive or indifferent, leaving you to carry the emotional load, it's a sign that her commitment is lacking. The Stoics believed in mutual respect and reciprocity in all relationships. Without this balance, the relationship risks becoming more of a transaction than a partnership. Another indicator of inequality is how she values your time. Does she expect you to drop everything for her, but rarely reciprocates when you need her? Does she demand your attention and support without considering your own commitments or responsibilities? A partner who truly cares will respect your boundaries and prioritize your well-being alongside their own. The Stoics taught that giving and receiving should flow naturally in relationships. Marcus Aurelius spoke of the importance of equity in human interactions. When one person gives endlessly while the other only takes, it disrupts this balance. Giving without receiving creates resentment and depletes the giver's emotional reserves, leaving them feeling unappreciated and undervalued. In some cases, an unequal dynamic may stem from her viewing you as a means to an end. Perhaps she enjoys the perks of being with you, whether it's financial stability, social connections, or emotional support, without genuinely investing in the relationship. This is a harsh truth, but one that becomes evident over time through her actions, or lack thereof. On the other hand, some women may not even realize the imbalance they're creating. This is where honest communication becomes essential. Express your feelings about the dynamic and see how she responds. A partner who cares will listen, reflect, and make an effort to adjust. But if she dismisses your concerns or continues to take without giving, it's a clear sign that she doesn't value the relationship as much as you do. It's also important to consider how she treats others in her life. Does she show the same lack of effort with friends and family, or is it only in her relationship with you? If she's attentive and generous in other areas, but neglects your needs, it may indicate that she doesn't view you as a priority. The imbalance can manifest in different ways, not just through financial or emotional contributions. It might show up in how decisions are made in the relationship. Are her preferences always the default? Does she make unilateral choices without consulting you? A healthy relationship involves collaboration and mutual respect, not one person dictating the terms. The Stoics would advise you to approach this situation with clarity and self-respect. Observe her behavior objectively, without allowing emotions to cloud your judgment. Ask yourself, is this relationship enriching your life, or is it depleting your energy? Does she make an effort to show she values you, or does she take your contributions for granted? When a relationship feels unequal, it's crucial to set boundaries and communicate your expectations. Let her know what you need from the partnership and see how she responds. If she's unwilling to meet you halfway or dismisses your concerns, it's a sign that the imbalance is unlikely to change. Ultimately, a relationship should feel like a partnership, not a one-sided transaction. The Stoics believe that equity in relationships fosters trust, respect, and harmony. When one person constantly gives while the other only takes, it undermines the foundation of the relationship. Recognize the signs of imbalance and take the necessary steps to address them. If the relationship remains unequal despite your efforts, it may be time to walk away and find someone who values you for who you are, not just for what you can provide. Chapter 6. She always wants to stay at home. Does she consistently suggest staying in, avoiding public outings, or making excuses to avoid meeting your friends and family? While quiet evenings at home can be enjoyable and even necessary to build intimacy, a pattern of avoiding public interactions can reveal deeper issues. This behavior might suggest she's not fully committed to the relationship, or worse, she's intentionally keeping it hidden. A woman who genuinely cares about you will want to integrate into your life. She'll show interest in meeting your friends, attending events with you, and being a part of your world. Public interactions signify pride and transparency in the relationship. When someone is excited about being with you, they want others to see and acknowledge the connection. If she's reluctant to share those moments or refuses invitations to join you in social settings, it raises a red flag about her intentions. Consider her reasons for staying in. Are they based on valid preferences, such as needing time to unwind or not being a fan of large crowds? Or do they seem more like excuses to keep the relationship confined? If she only wants to stay home when you're together but is comfortable going out with others, it may signal a lack of investment in your connection. The Stoics emphasized the value of living openly and honestly. Relationships that thrive do so because they are built on trust, shared experiences, and a willingness to be vulnerable, not just with each other, but also with the world. Marcus Aurelius spoke of the importance of aligning actions with values, and in the context of relationships, this means being proud of the person you're with and allowing them to become a part of your life in every sense. Ask yourself, does she shy away from your social circle? Does she make excuses to avoid events that are meaningful to you? Does she avoid introducing you to her own friends and family? These behaviors are not just about personal preferences, they're about whether she sees the relationship as something worth sharing or something she wants to keep isolated and convenient. Another key sign is her reaction to invitations involving your friends or family. Does she show interest and enthusiasm, or does she seem indifferent, uncomfortable, or dismissive? A woman who's serious about you will want to be included in your world, even if she feels a bit nervous at first. On the other hand, if she avoids these situations entirely, it could indicate she's not willing to commit beyond the private dynamic you've established. This tendency to avoid public acknowledgement can stem from various motivations. In some cases, she may not see a future with you and is therefore hesitant to introduce you to people who matter in her life. In other cases, she may be using the relationship as a temporary arrangement, benefiting from your company, support, or resources without investing emotionally. The Stoics also taught us to observe patterns of behavior rather than relying solely on words. If her actions consistently show a reluctance to share her life with you in public, this is more telling than any verbal reassurances she might give. True commitment isn't just expressed behind closed doors, it's demonstrated through integration into each other's lives. Additionally, avoiding public outings can create a dynamic where the relationship feels disconnected from reality. Shared public experiences are essential for bonding and understanding each other's personalities in different contexts. It's through these interactions that relationships grow and evolve. If those opportunities are consistently denied, the relationship risks stagnation. While it's essential to respect individual comfort levels, it's equally important to recognize when a pattern of behavior reflects deeper issues. A relationship built on secrecy and isolation often lacks the foundation needed for genuine connection. If she's unwilling to share her time with you publicly or hesitates to take the relationship outside the confines of her home, it's a clear indicator of where her priorities lie. At its core, a healthy relationship balances private moments with public acknowledgement. Both aspects are crucial for building trust, creating shared memories, and fostering a sense of belonging. If one side of this equation is consistently neglected, it's worth examining whether the relationship aligns with your needs and expectations. Ultimately, the Stoics would advise you to prioritize clarity and intentionality in your relationships. If she's always suggesting staying in and avoiding meaningful public connections, it's time to address the issue directly. Share your concerns, listen to her perspective, and evaluate whether her actions align with her words. If the behavior persists despite honest communication, it may be a sign that she values convenience over connection, and that's a dynamic no one deserves. Chapter 7. The relationship never grows. A stagnant relationship is like a plant without water. It withers and eventually dies. When a woman avoids deep conversations, resists resolving conflicts, or shows little interest in planning a future together, it's a glaring sign she's not truly invested in the relationship. These behaviors reveal her lack of emotional commitment and her preference to maintain the status quo for her benefit. Growth is the heartbeat of any meaningful connection. A relationship should evolve naturally, deepening through shared experiences, mutual understanding, and the resolution of challenges. When a woman shies away from these opportunities to strengthen your bond, it's not because she's content, it's because she's disengaged. She may see the relationship as convenient, enjoying its perks without truly contributing to its progression. You might notice that when issues arise, she either dismisses them entirely or avoids addressing them altogether. For instance, when you bring up concerns about communication, intimacy, or future plans, she may change the subject, give vague answers, or downplay the importance of these discussions. This avoidance isn't just frustrating, it's a sign that she's not interested in building something substantial with you. The Stoics believed that growth and self-improvement are fundamental aspects of a fulfilling life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way," highlighting the importance of confronting challenges head-on to achieve personal and relational progress. A relationship devoid of growth becomes a barrier, trapping you in a cycle of stagnation and unfulfilled potential. Consider how often she initiates meaningful discussions. Does she ever ask about your long-term goals, your aspirations, or how the two of you can grow together? If she seems disinterested in your future or avoids integrating her life with yours, it's a clear indication that she's not emotionally invested. Instead, she may be content to let things remain shallow and unchanging as long as it serves her needs. Another hallmark of a stagnant relationship is her unwillingness to share her own vulnerabilities or personal growth journey. A woman who values the relationship will open up about her dreams, fears, and plans, inviting you to do the same. She'll see the relationship as a partnership where both of you can thrive together. But if she's withholding these parts of herself, it's a sign she doesn't see you as part of her future or doesn't want you to see beyond the surface. From a Stoic perspective, it's crucial to evaluate the balance of effort and intention in your connection. Are you the one constantly striving for growth, initiating plans, or pushing for resolution? Are your efforts met with resistance or indifference? The Stoics remind us to focus on what we can control, our actions and decisions, not the unwillingness of others to meet us halfway. A woman who values you and the relationship will actively participate in its development. She'll work with you to address conflicts, find common ground, and plan for a shared future. On the other hand, a woman who's using you will keep things stagnant, ensuring the relationship remains superficial and unchallenging for her. It's important to recognize the difference between someone who's naturally cautious about relationships and someone who's deliberately keeping things from growing. While the former might need patience and understanding, the latter is a sign of a one-sided dynamic that will only drain your energy and emotional resources over time. When a relationship lacks growth, it's not just unfulfilling, it's harmful. It prevents you from experiencing the joy and connection that come with a genuine partnership. The Stoics emphasized the importance of living a life aligned with your values and purpose. Staying in a relationship that doesn't align with your need for growth and reciprocity is a disservice to yourself. Ultimately, a stagnant relationship is a sign to reevaluate. Is she building with you, or is she merely taking from you? If you find that your efforts are met with indifference or resistance, it's time to ask yourself if this relationship aligns with your goals and values. True connections thrive on growth, mutual effort, and the willingness to face challenges together. Anything less is simply holding you back. Take stock of the relationship's trajectory. Reflect on whether you feel fulfilled, appreciated, and supported in your personal and shared goals. If the answer is no, it may be time to let go and seek a relationship that fosters the growth and partnership you deserve. The Stoics would remind you that letting go of what no longer serves you is not a loss, but a step toward living a life of integrity and purpose. The Stoics taught us to observe with clarity and act with intention. If you recognize these signs, it's time to reassess the relationship and make decisions that prioritize your well-being and self-respect. Remember, a healthy relationship is built on mutual effort, respect, and emotional investment. Anything less isn't worth your time. If this resonated with you, like the video, subscribe for more insights, and share your experiences in the comments. Let's help each other recognize these patterns and build relationships that truly matter.